Yo, what's going on, everybody? So today I'm going to be going over my Void build that I've been using in the new season. And to get started, we're going to be using, obviously, Night Stalker. Now, for Super, you can use Spectral Blades or Shadow Shot, Deadfall. I really would recommend Deadfall in any type of content that's hard, like at all. Spectral Blades, I believe they got a buff, but they still don't feel that great. They're fun. They're really fun in low end content, but other than that, it's just still kind of okay. I use Vortex Grenade here. You can use any grenade that you want, though. Now, for the aspects I use Stylish. This, as you go on with the build, you always are applying Weaken, Suppress, and Volatile. So you can kind of just always have Stylish up, so you're always just going invisible. It's really insane. Obviously, every time you go invisible, you proc on the Prowl, which what on the Prowl does is make it so whenever you go invisible, it marks an enemy for you and your team, and then when you kill them, you all gain ability bonus. And then if you go to the cloud, you go invisible. You and your teammates go invisible. So really good for again making your teammates invisible and just getting abilities up. Going into fragments, we have Echo of Explosion. Just ability blows make enemies go make. Bleh, fuck. For the fragments, I have Echo of Explosion. Void ability final blows make it so they explode. They're just nice because again you're throwing your grenades all the time, so they kind of just make more explosions. I have Echo of Starvation as my second one, basically helping you get Devour up all the time with Void Breaches and Orbs, which you're gonna always have everywhere. So you have Devour up 24/7. Echo of Persistence would make it so your invisibility and Devour mainly have more. If you use Overshield with Repulsor Brace or anything, those also last longer. Echo of Undermining, so your grenades weaken. This is just great for stylish and just in general. You can kind of throw it at a yellow bar and they get nuked. It's very nice. And then the last one, I have Echo of Harvesting. Whenever you defeat a weakened target, it spawns an orb and a void breach. And again, you weaken a lot on this build, so this is just really important as well. So moving to the exotics, what I use Omni Oculus, but you can also use obviously Gerfalcons. This is just an old one. I don't feel like this build needs Gerfalcons, to be honest, but if you like Gerfalcons, this build will work really well with them. Gwison's Vest also, I believe, got a buff. So it's not bad, but as I said with Spectral Blades, if you're doing hard content, it doesn't feel as great. It is fun, though, to just always have your super up. Like, this makes it so your super lasts a lot longer, but it still doesn't feel that great. If they buff Spectral Blades at least a little more to where they do more damage, then I could see it being really good, but the thing with Omni Oculus is you get two smoke bombs and you get a damage resist while you're invisible, so it's kind of just super hard to kill you. Also, whenever you go, like if you're playing with teammates, they go invisible, you get melee energy, so which is pretty nice because again, you can make them go invisible on the prowl and stuff. But mainly the two smoke bombs and the damage resist while invisible is great. Moving into the artifact, which kind of just makes this build go even crazier, is so you have Void Flex, which whenever you defeat a weakened target, it makes it so your weapon will apply Volatile, which again kind of makes Falcons feel a little bit why not. And then while you're applying Volatile, they create a weakening burst, so you're weakening and making them volatile. And then getting multiple Void Precision kills also gives you volatile rounds, so you're always going to be having debuffs, so you're always going invisible on this build. It's kind of just insanely strong. That's why again, Falcons feels a little bit just not needed because it's like you're always having like volatile rounds and all that. And they're all weakened. But yeah, this build is basically just you debuff everybody, and it's just an ad clearing machine. But also it works really well with bosses and stuff, especially with teammates. So the weapons that I use is Hardlight. Hardlight has gotten two buffs basically. It got an auto rifle, but all auto rifles got a buff this season and Harlight got a buff. Well, all of the three guns with fundamentals got a buff, where they no longer give you like stability based on what you have, but whenever you do anything basically with a void, like debuff anybody, you get a 10-second boost, which I believe is 20%, and it kind of is just always active. So this gun just hits pretty hard, and it just feels great to use, to be honest. It's definitely my favorite Void gun, exotic-wise, to use so far this season. Um, the Telesto is also pretty good. I've played with it a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of it, but if you do enjoy it, then definitely go for it. Telesto got a pretty big catalyst, and it's pretty fun to use. I use scatter signal. You can use kind of anything. I would recommend like a fusion though, because if you're on the Prowl marks a yellow bar, it can be annoying to take down. And if you're not using like a rocket launcher, scatter signal or any type of fusion or any type of big gun that can melt those guys are really helpful. I do use commemoration because it's just really nice to, again, for any type of yellow bars or hard content, you can kind of just melt through a bunch of guys and just always have that on the prow going. It's just really good. You can also use Hammerhead. That's another good LMG. Or you can, again, just use any type of rocket launcher or grenade launcher, whatever you want to just nuke those big guys if you want. Going into armor mods, I use pretty simple. I use Harmonic Siphon, get those orbs, Heavy Ammo Finder, and Scout, because again, I like using Commemoration. If you don't, you can always change those. Harmonic Loader for, again, Commemoration. It's not very needed, but it's just a quality of life thing. Now, these two, Bolstering Detonation and Firepower, are actually really nice because, again, you throw your grenade all the time in this build. Obviously, your grenade weakens, blah, 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 but it gets a lot of kills, and it can grab a lot of orbs of power and get your class ability back, so you're always getting your melee up, and it just works really, really well with getting orbital power. I put whatever resistance is on your chest piece. Leg armor, again, or not again, but Absolution works really well because, yes, you do pick up a lot of orbs. Helps you get all your abilities back. I use Void Weapon Surge because you get so many orbs, as I'm saying, and this is kind of just like a permanent damage buff to your Void Weapons. Now, if you don't want to use this and you want to use like a special finisher or stuff like that, you can definitely take this off. But to me, this just feels great to use. Scavenger for my heavy. I use time dilation to always make sure I have armor charges up for my surges. Again, you can take this off if you want, but these two just feel really great together. And then I have Outreach and Reaper to again help with class ability. So this is the build. It's really not that hard to use, but it just works really well in all the type of content. I use this for expert nether clears. I haven't used it in GMs yet. I haven't done a GM, so I can't say I've done it with GMs this season, but I have done it with GMs in previous seasons. Not to this extent, obviously, not with like hard light and all that, but again, Void Hunter's always been great. This build just feels good because you can also make your teammates visible and you have your teammates boosts, so it kind of is just like a team player as well, which feels great. So that's it for this build. I will be making a Arc build soon, but I might make it on an Arc Warlock. I also have a Strand Warlock build I want to make, but I did already make a Strand Hunter, so I kind of want to just mix it up, but I want to get this Void build out because this is a Void build I've been using a ton this season, and it feels really, really good. And I'll be streaming the dungeon, the contest mode dungeon, later today, whenever this comes out, so stop by there if you want. You can also just watch it whenever it's done. And yeah, that'll be it for me, so peace out.